Hey! Sorry.
Thanks. I did that for the sound guys on the show. Please don't let the Dr. Pepper folks find out about this. That's all I can find. How are you? Itches.
And he's the one that actually designed it, took the picture, and did everything with it.
Who's the old guy?
I don't know what old guy. I said, who's the sexy guy?
Oh.
You got it all, baby. You know it. Have fun. You're welcome.
They don't mind you, right?
No disrespect. Okay. Hi, guys. Well, I guess Q&A. I'm guessing that's question and answer. I'm not real good with abbreviations, but I see a hand raised over there, and there's a microphone coming to you.
I also don't need a microphone. But Bobby, we'd like to know about your new show. Tell us as much as you can, and where we might be able to see it, where we might be able to see it, and everything like that.
Okay. My new show. Well, they're being very, very secretive over at CBS.
We won't tell.
And so there are only a few things. There's only a little bit I can tell you about the show. It's called Harper's Island. They must be fairly desperate because I'm one of the best known people on the show. So, but our friend Katie Cassidy is on it. She's no longer blonde. She said it was too much trouble. So I don't know what that means, but I haven't had any scenes with her yet, but I've seen her a few times on the set. She's a doll. I love Katie. But it's going to go on the air on CBS in February, and I really can't say too much about it. I was on one other show once where they made me sign a confidentiality agreement. This show made me sign 3. So, but that's because the secrets involved in the show, it's not just about spoilers, it's about the whole show is based on the audience not knowing what's going on. And so they don't want a whole lot of information getting out beforehand because it will make it not so good an experience for you. So, no, I can't say that either. We shoot in Vancouver, which is a really good thing because so far they've been really good about letting me do Supernatural too. And I was very nervous about taking the job because I was scared it was going to mess with Supernatural. And so far, it will have an effect because I'm not going to be as available, but when they can, they'll let me off to go across town and work with Sam and Dean. So I'm happy about that, but it's but it's also a very short series. It's a 13 episode series, so I'll be done with it in January, and there'll still be 2 or 3 months of Supernatural filming to go after that. So I suspect you'll see a lot more of me in the second half of Supernatural season. I do know I'm coming back in episode 6. So, 3 more weeks? Don't spoil it? How about episode 3? I can spoil that one, right? No, you guys say no spoiler, no spoiler. You really want to know. Let me tell you what happens in episode 3. Sam and Dean. Sam and Dean try and figure out some really spooky stuff. That was work way before what that I can hate.
How's Maddie adapting to 2nd grade in your new schedule? What's she doing?
How's Maddie? That's my daughter. How's she adapting to 2nd grade? Yeah, my little girl Maddie is, she's in the 2nd grade now. She's working on her advanced degree in dictatorship. And I think she may get an early PhD. She's doing pretty well. She's not crazy about me being gone to Vancouver all the time, but and I'm not crazy about being away from her. But I went back to my room last night after the cocktail party, and I've got a little program where I can operate her computer by remote control, and but she doesn't know it. So I got online and she was playing some kind of Cartoon Network game, and I just started moving a cursor around all over the place, clicking on stuff and writing little messages on the screen. And, just doing what a good father does, driving his daughter insane.
Exercise your computer now.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's doing great. Thank you for asking. See you. Yes. Yeah. 4th row.
Oh, thank you. I was just wondering what sort of things you would like to see happen with the character of Bobby over the end of the series.
Same thing I always say. Hot tub. I'm not so sure anybody else wants to see me in a hot tub. You're some sick puppies. No, they keep throwing surprises at me, and I like that. I don't have a big set of interests as to what they ought to do with Bobby. The more the better. But whatever they want to do that doesn't involve, Bobby's dying words. So, yeah.
Hopefully I'll ask you something you can talk about. The movie, when is it coming out? You were talking about it last time I saw you?
That's right. I did a movie, didn't I? I did a picture in June, a little independent comedy called Dark and Stormy Night. And if you've ever seen one of those old 30s, old dark house, sliding panel, phantom killer movies with a whole bunch of strange and different people creeping around, that's what this is, only almost as funny. Anybody ever see a little cult comedy about 3 or 4 years ago called The Lost Skeleton of Cadabra? Well, if you haven't seen it, you should check it out, because it's a hoot. I wasn't in it, but a guy named Larry Lamar wrote and directed that, and he has a great love and affection and expertise in all those old genre pictures from the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s, and he just likes making new ones, except with a really wicked sense of humor. So I play a big game hunter named Jack Tugden, and he's about as far from Bobby as you can imagine. And I don't know when it'll be out. You know, independent films, they spend most of their energy trying to either get them made or get them distributed. And I'm hoping that this comes out next year. Who knows? But I'm sure I'll probably talk my fool head off about it when it does. So, Dark and Stormy Night, coming to a theater somewhere. Yeah, hi.
The new season just started. We're 2 episodes in.
I've heard that.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't watched them or anything, but there's of course, a new character that's been introduced, Spesial, and you were there for his grand introduction. And there's, of course, it's a sign of a new myth arc for this season. And I want to know what your opinion was of the developing myth arc for this season as compared to last season's. And also, just, last Thursday, whenever they're asking you, what is the sign up with shouting at the television, say apocalypse, say apocalypse. And of course you said apocalypse, so I just want to know what you think about that and where it's going. Or don't tell me where it's going. Keep going.
Well, I can tell you all you want to know. No, that's a falsehood. I haven't a clue where it's going. I thought it was kind of cool when they got the whole angel thing in there, because you've got 3 years preceding this of demons and evil spirits and hell gates, and at some point you got to figure, okay, well, there must be a flip side to this stuff. So I thought it was kind of smart and interesting, but I don't know where it's going. I didn't really get a lot of knowledge or insight from doing those scenes with Castiel, because, as you remember, he put me into a nap, and I actually took one on the floor because listening to Jensen go on and he's great to look at. So I've heard it said. As on a lot of shows, the actors are the last to know. So I didn't even see. I haven't seen the second episode yet. I kicked ass. What a surprise. I may not get to see it for a month or so, because I got it keyloaded at home, but it'll be a month or so before I get home. A lot of people have been asking me questions about the second episode. Second episode. What did I do? panic
room. That's great.
All I remember about the panic room, everybody was like, "Oh, the panic room is so cool! It's so cool!" And even on the set when we were shooting the first episode of the season, and they had built the panic room, or they were in the process of building it, and it was right next to the barn where we first met Castiel, and they were saying, "Jim, come here. You got to see this room for next set." And I walked over and looked at it, and it's a room. But then when they got it all lit up and propped up and everything for when we actually shot the second episode, it was pretty cool. It wasn't really iron. The big old iron door that we slammed closed, and threw the lock on. The handle on the lock kept breaking because it was made out of wood or plastic or something. It was just, they do a great job painting this stuff to make it, with textures and everything, to make it look, standing in the room, it looks like solid iron, rusty, and you go up and lean against it and you go, ooh. So, I think the tech guys on the show do a great job. The set guys. When I walked into that barn where Castiel made his first appearance, I was like, "Oh man, somebody had to paint this." And they did a much better job than I would have done. Yeah.
I've got one.
Oh.
I was just wondering, for creating a character for a TV show that runs for a couple of seasons like this, do you kind of create in your head a backstory for that character, or do you tend to more not create anything backstory-wise in your head in case something comes along that changes that? You get a different view from the director or the show creator.
That's a good question. Every actor's different. Every actor approaches the work differently. I rarely build up a big backstory. I kind of like to let the writers handle that. They tell me what they need to know, and if there's something about the character's backstory that's vital to knowing how to play them, I figure it's probably in the script somewhere, in either in the stage direction or in a line that he says. So I don't do a lot of that. Also, especially with Bobby, I came on board thinking it was a one-shot deal. They hired me to do Devil's Trap, and I thought, okay, I'm going to Vancouver and do one episode of this TV show, and that'll be that. So it didn't. And what little backstory they wanted to be known was in the script, They said, all the stuff about, I almost shot John once. And that was that sort of set the tone for who he was. And maybe I might have built a little more backstory if I'd known I was going to be around for the next 3 or 4 years. But for the most part, it's like everything else on the show. I like being surprised. I like to pick up a script and go, "Oh, that's why he did that." Okay. And the writers, they come up with at least as good stuff as I can come up with. So now a lot of actors work differently. A lot of them make copious notes about what went on 20 years ago with their character, and that works for them, and I've done it on occasion, but it's not usually the way I work.